If you've been in crypto for more than a few months, you've probably asked yourself, when the heck is alt season coming? Well, crypto moves in cycles. It always has and always will. And the best part, these cycles are so obvious, but only if you know what to look for. We've seen it before. Bitcoin moves first, takes the spotlight, dominates everything, and for months altcoins get absolutely wrecked. Ethereum slow, Solana dead, random alts absolutely buried. Then bam, the rotation starts, ETH wakes up, other alts follow, and suddenly you wish you bought more, and all those people that naysay the bull market are bullish again. Well, we might be at that inflection point again. Bitcoin has been on an absolute rampage, completely obliterating ETH and everything else for months. And now ETH and alts could be primed. Today, we are going to break down altcoin rotations and how you can make the most of this alt season. And trust me, if you think this bull market is already wild, you have not seen anything yet. By the way, check out this comment from Simon Roberts 5. Thank you, Simon, for being a part of this community. This is why we do what we do. If you're not already subscribed to Crypto Tips, then do it right now and turn on notifications. Anyways, back to alt season. One thing we have to keep in mind is that Bitcoin runs the show. Always has, always will. Every major bull market starts with Bitcoin ripping higher. It's the signal flare that wakes up the entire crypto ecosystem. Why? Because Bitcoin is the safe bet. It is the only crypto that institutional money actually respects, let's be honest, and the only one that regulators are forced to acknowledge. When the big money flows in, it's going to go to the safest asset. So it goes to Bitcoin first. And that's exactly what we've been seeing. Bitcoin has been crushing altcoins for months. But it is easy to forget. Bitcoin doesn't pump forever. The market evolves, so stick around because this is where things get really interesting. Once Bitcoin makes its move, traders start looking for bigger gains. They get greedy. The leverage starts piling in, and Bitcoin's returns slow down. And that's when the capital rotation begins. This is how it's been throughout each cycle. Step 1, Ethereum wakes up. It starts outpacing Bitcoin, stealing dominance. Step 2, large cap altcoins follow. Think Ethereum, Avalanche, Chainlink, Aave, and projects with strong narratives. Step 3, the real degeneracy begins. Mid caps, low caps, meme coins, money is flying everywhere. But the divergence this time was meme coins having a crazy run recently, and I don't think it can get any bigger for them than the US president launching one. But why does this rotation happen? It's simple. It's greed. Bitcoin gets expensive and people chase higher risks, hoping for a bigger return. And if history tells us anything, when altcoins move, they move freaking fast. Are we at that phase yet? Not quite, but the signs are appearing. ETH Bitcoin is perking up. Bitcoin dominance is looking heavy. It's all lined up. Stick around because the next part is where I break down the key indicators that show exactly when altcoins are about to explode. And the first thing you need to watch, Bitcoin dominance. If you're not paying attention to Bitcoin dominance, you're basically trading blind. Bitcoin dominance measures the Bitcoin percentage of the total crypto market cap. If Bitcoin dominance is rising, it means Bitcoin is soaking up liquidity. Alts are getting drained, destroyed. If Bitcoin dominance is dropping, that's your signal that capital is rotating into alts. Now let's rewind to previous bull markets and see what actually happened. I love this stuff. Okay, so in 2017, Bitcoin dominance was sitting around 65%. Then as Bitcoin made its move, dominance plunged, dropping to 35%. By the peak of the alt season, January 2018, that's when Ethereum, XRP, and a wave of altcoins went parabolic. Let's go to 2020 and 2021. Bitcoin dominance ran from 60% to nearly 73% in early stages of the bull market, just like we are seeing now. But once Bitcoin slowed down, boom, Bitcoin dominance crashed to 40%, and altcoins, oh my gosh, they were skyrocketing. Let's look at what is happening right now. Bitcoin dominance has been surging for months. Bitcoin has been the only game in town, as you all know. As of now, Bitcoin dominance is hovering near that critical 62% resistance. If it can't break through and starts to decline, get ready for altcoins to take off. And the relative strength index is at overbought territory. So Bitcoin dominance may be overextended and a correction could happen. Bitcoin dominance is struggling to push higher. It's stalling. And whenever that happens, altcoins start to pop. So here's the bottom line. If Bitcoin dominance rolls over, it's a green light for altcoins. If Bitcoin dominance bounces and keeps climbing, altcoins are in for some more pain. And trust me, this next part is just as critical because of this key metric, the ETH Bitcoin ratio, and it's flashing some major signals. The ETH Bitcoin ratio measures Ethereum's price relative to Bitcoin's. If it's rising, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. If it's falling, Bitcoin is in control. For example, if ETH is priced at $2,350 and Bitcoin is at $91,935, the ratio would be 0.0256 ETH BTC. A rising ETH BTC ratio is often the first sign that altcoins are about to wake up. The ratio has always played a key role in market cycles. 2017, ETH BTC exploded upwards, breaking out ahead of an altcoin mania. It was wild. Back in 2020, DeFi summer, the ratio had also had a nice run, leading to an altcoin explosion as capital rotated into DeFi projects. 2021, ETH Bitcoin bottomed out in early 2021, then climbed, signaling the start of a massive altcoin cycle. That was so much fun. Okay, so the pattern is clear. When ETH Bitcoin finds a bottom and starts climbing, altcoins follow every single time, people. Right now, ETH BTC is sitting near multi-year lows, hovering at around 0.025, a critical historical support zone. The next major breakout level is 0.04. If ETH BTC pushes past this, altcoins could go skyrocketing. Right now, the RSI is oversold, and if history is anything to go by, every time ETH BTC was this low, a strong reversal happened, and the RSI has never been this oversold in the history of Ethereum, and everyone's very bearish right now on Ethereum. We're even sitting at historical support levels where ETH BTC has bounced before every alt season. And if it starts climbing, the market is about to shift away from Bitcoin dominance and into Ethereum and altcoins. For now though, let's dive into total value locked, or TVL, a crucial metric that can make or break your altcoin investments. TVL represents the total capital deposited in decentralized finance protocols. Think of it as the total liquidity available across DeFi platforms, including funds and lending, staking, and liquidity pools. A higher TVL indicates more capital is locked in DeFi, reflecting greater trust and participation in these platforms. That's what you want to see. Historically, a rising TVL has been a precursor to altcoin booms. Now let's talk about 2020 DeFi summer. TVL surged from under $1 billion in early 2020 to over $10 billion in September. coinciding in massive rally in DeFi-related altcoins. 2021 bull run. Let's talk about that. TVL continued its ascent, reaching nearly $180 billion in November of 2021, as altcoins across various sectors saw exponential growth. These patterns show that as more capital flows into DeFi, it often leads to an increased demand and price appreciation for associated altcoins. As of today, the TVL in DeFi stands at approximately $102 billion, according to data from DeFi Llama. This marks a significant recovery from the lows of under $40 billion in December of 2022. This upward trend in TVL suggests renewed interest and confidence in DeFi platforms, which could be showing an impending altcoin season. Keep a close eye on TVL metrics. A rising TVL often comes before altcoins rally. Now, when a blockchain network like Ethereum experiences increased activity, it often leads to higher transaction fees, which everyone hates, and network congestion. Think of it as a rush hour traffic. The more cars on the road, the slower everything moves and the cost of the ride goes up. In the crypto world, this heightened activity usually indicates increased interest and usage, which can be a precursor to significant price movements. This is super important because you need to remember this when it comes time to sell. If you have smaller positions, then this will affect you massively, and it might be better to use a layer 2. So throughout the cycles, we've seen that network congestion often precedes massive price surges. In 2021, the Ethereum network became so congested that average transaction fees skyrocketed to over $40. This wasn't just a minor inconvenience. It was a clear signal that the market was heating up. And sure enough, altcoins in the DeFi space saw explosive growth. And then came the NFT craze of 2022. The sudden surge of NFT transactions led to network slowdowns and soaring fees, signaling a massive influx of new users and capital, which was followed by significant upward moves in related altcoins. Some of those fees were like in the $1,000 range. Right now, Ethereum's average transaction fee have plummeted around 41 cents, down from peaks of over $15 over the past 2 years. While this might seem like a bad thing, keep in mind Ethereum has had some big moves forward in scalability, like the increasing growth in L2s, which means Ethereum has become generally cheap to use. A lot of on-chain demand has shifted from these L2s, which makes Ethereum more attractive to use. And that's before the introduction of proto-dark sharding later this year, which should drop L2 and L1 fees by a massive 10x. Keep a close eye on network fees and congestion. Rising fees often indicate increased activity and interest, which can be a precursor to price surges. Stay vigilant and don't miss out on the signals that Ethereum is sending. Okay, so now let's dive into a lesser known but crucial metric that can make or break your altcoin investments: the others BTC ratio. This ratio measures the performance of altcoins, excluding major ones like Ethereum, relative to Bitcoin. Essentially, it tells you how the collective market cap of these smaller altcoins stack up against Bitcoin's market cap. A rising others BTC ratio indicates that these altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, while a declining ratio suggests that they're losing ground. Historically, shifts in the others BTC ratio have been early indicators of changes in market focus. 2017, the ratio skyrocketed as investors poured funds into smaller altcoins, leading to massive gains across the board. That was amazing. Okay, so in 2021, a rising others BTC ratio signaled a broad-based altcoin rally, with many smaller projects experiencing exponential growth. As of now, the others BTC ratio has hit lows. This decline indicates that smaller altcoins have been consistently losing ground relative to Bitcoin, despite temporary spikes in individual projects, which you've all seen. Keep in mind, levels like this in the others BTC ratio have historically been followed by alt season, as your Bitcoin investors seek higher returns beyond Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dominance tops out and Bitcoin starts moving sideways, others BTC could form a bottom and begin recovering. The trigger for this would likely be a cooling off in Bitcoin dominance, increased speculation, and better liquidity conditions. Let's dive into the altcoin season index now. The altcoin season index is a tool that measures whether the cryptocurrency market is favoring altcoins or Bitcoin. Typically, when the altcoin season index is at a reading of 75 and above, it's a sign that an altcoin season has started. We've covered this one in a video recently where it was sitting right in the middle of 50. But now the situation has changed and it's looking a lot more favorable for altcoins to run. Historically, the altcoin season index has been a reliable indicator for identifying market phases. In 2017, the index surged from a colossal low at around 8 when Bitcoin was dominating up to 75, signaling a massive altcoin rally during the initial coin offering craze, which was so much fun. As Bitcoin cooled down, the index climbed, as did alts. Now, 2020, DeFi summer, the index rose from 7 to 89, indicating a strong alt season driven by DeFi. These moves show that a low altcoin season index tends to predict upcoming sharp moves in alts. Okay, so right now, the altcoin season index is sitting at a score of 20, telling us that Bitcoin still has been winning over alts. Historically, low scores mean very significant impending altcoin moves, but keep in mind there have been times when the indicator had seen scores of below 10. You never know how low the indicator will go, but it's definitely time to be keeping an eye on any reversals on the alt season index. Remember, every bull market follows a clear pattern. Bitcoin moves first every single time. Bitcoin soaks up liquidity, dominance rises, and altcoins bleed. Happens over and over again. The Bitcoin ETH ratio starts to shift, Ethereum gains ground, Bitcoin dominance stalls. Altcoin mania begins. Capital rotates down the risk curve, first to large caps, then mid caps, then full-blown degeneracy mode. Meme coins, low caps, you name it. We saw all of this in 2017, where Bitcoin dominance peaked, then collapsed from 65% to 35% as altcoins exploded. We saw this in 2021 with Bitcoin dominance hitting resistance at 73, then tanking as alts took over. And right now, we're seeing eerily similar setups. We've just laid out the entire playbook for how altcoins rotations begin. We broke down Bitcoin dominance, the Bitcoin ETH ratio, TVL and DeFi, network congestion, others BTC, and the altcoin index. And guess what? All of these signs are pointing to an impending shift. So here's the question. Are you ready for it? Which altcoins are you watching? If you want to see our full portfolio, which altcoins we're buying, and most importantly, which ones we're going to be selling, then check out our sale at learningcrypto.com. And if you want real-time updates, charts, and market insights as they happen, make sure you're following us on Twitter at CryptoTipsReal. We are constantly breaking down the latest moves, calling out key levels, and keeping you ahead of the herd. Hit us up, the link is down below.